Welcome back to The Explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to totally transform your garden, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into a systemic, life cycle-based masterclass on getting those massive, consistent yields from your lemon plants. We're not just throwing random tips at you here. We are literally decoding the entire biological journey of the plant. We're going from a simple little seedling all the way to a tree that is just absolutely burdened with a heavy, beautiful harvest. So let's dive right into this. You know the feeling, right? It's this picture-perfect scenario. You do everything right. The blooms pop up looking like a high-quality photo of ultimate garden success. And then, boom. A few days later, they're just scattered all over the ground. It is absolutely heartbreaking. So why do perfectly healthy-looking lemon trees suddenly just drop their flowers? Well, today, I'm going to give you a complete step-by-step biological solution to this exact problem, completely drawn from expert horticultural sources. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the foundation of sun and water, move right into pruning for energy management, then tackle triggering and keeping flowers. After that, we'll boost fruit size naturally, and finally wrap the whole thing up with the monthly power mix. Let's get to it. Starting with Section 1, Foundation, Sun and Water. The magic number you really need to remember here is 6 to 8. Lemon trees require 6 to 8 hours of direct, completely unshaded sunlight every single day. We aren't talking about bright shade here or, filtered light through a window. We're talking about real open sunlight falling directly onto those leaves. Because this is the fuel for photosynthesis, right? It's what actually creates the stored energy the plant needs to build strong flowering branches. Oh, and if your plant happens to be in a pot, just remember to rotate it slightly every few days so all sides get equal light. This crucial point is summarized perfectly by a pretty hard truth from our sources. No fertilizer or spray can replace sunlight. It's just a fact. When sunlight is insufficient, the plant gets weak, right? It starts producing these long, thin branches and really pale leaves. And inevitably, even if it somehow manages to push out some flowers, why do they drop? Well, the plant simply won't have the stored energy it needs to actually support the fruit development. Fix the sun exposure, and honestly, half of your garden problems are already solved. Now, when it comes to water, quality is absolutely everything. Lemon plants are actually incredibly sensitive to salt. Rainwater is naturally soft, so it flushes excess salts right out of the soil. Bore water, on the other hand, acts like a salt trap. It's notorious for containing high levels of salts and minerals that just accumulate over time. And what that does is effectively block the roots from absorbing vital nutrients, like calcium and potassium. So if you want a healthy plant, you really have to stick to the salt-free water rule. Moving on to Section 2, Pruning for Energy Management. If we look at an animated timeline of the plant's year, you'll immediately see that timing is literally everything here. January is basically the resting phase, but that February to March window, that is the absolute perfect time to prune. During this specific window, the plant is gearing up for active growth. So pruning right now stimulates those fresh, outward and upward shoots that are eventually going to carry the flowers and fruit. Once April hits, those new shoots and flowers are going to emerge with just incredible vigor. But how exactly do we go about doing this? Well, the rule is pretty simple. Remove the inner crowded branches to improve your airflow and keep the outward spreading branches. See, when you cut away those dense inner branches, you're preventing stagnant air, which immediately drops your risk of pests and fungal disease. And by keeping the outward growth, you're encouraging the exact spots where new, healthy growth happens and where your actual lemons are going to form. You're basically forcing the plant to stop wasting its precious energy on shaded, weak interior growth. But listen, there is a golden rule you absolutely must follow here. 25 to 30%. That is the absolute maximum percentage of the plant you should ever remove at one time. Seriously, if you get overzealous and just chop away half the tree, you're going to send the whole plant into shock. So use clean, sharp tools and never ever take more than 30%. All right, Section 3, Triggering and Keeping Flowers. Now, commercial growers use this totally counterintuitive technique called the water stress trick. Basically, if a lemon plant gets too comfortable with regular watering, it focuses entirely on leaf growth. It gets lazy. So about 10 to 12 days before the expected flowering period, you want to reduce the water. You're not stopping entirely, just enough to let the soil get slightly dry. This induces a bit of survival stress, signaling to the plant, hey, I need to reproduce immediately. Then, around day 10 or 12, you hit it with one deep, massive irrigation shock. The roots rapidly absorb that moisture, and boom, the plant pushes out a massive, synchronized wave of flowers all at once. It's amazing. But okay, once you actually have those flowers, how do you keep them on the tree? Well, flower drop is heavily linked to a specific micronutrient deficiency, specifically boron. Boron is vital for pollen formation. So here is the exact DIY recipe to fix it. Just mix half a teaspoon of boric acid into 1 liter of clean water. Gently spray this directly onto the flowers, the buds, and the young leaves. You'll want to do this in the early morning or late evening. Repeat it once every 15 days during the flowering period. This simple boron spray strengthens the flower structure, improves the pollen viability, and dramatically reduces that premature flower drop. It's a real game changer. Next up, Section 4, boosting fruit size naturally. Potassium is the key nutrient if you want fruit weight and juiciness, and you probably have a completely free source sitting in your kitchen right now: banana peels. Here's exactly what you do. Cut 2 to 3 banana peels into little pieces, let them soak in water for about 24 hours so all that amazing potassium can leach out, and then apply that strain liquid directly to moist soil every 10 to 15 days. This acts as a completely natural, slow-release potassium booster. It makes the lemons heavier, juicier, and helps the plant hold onto the fruit all the way to maturity. Now, while potassium gives you weight, calcium gives you strength. If your fruits are dropping off while they're still small, or if you're noticing the skins are cracking, you're probably dealing with a calcium deficiency. But the solution is just as simple. Eggshells. Wash, dry, and crush them up into a really fine powder. Then, just mix this powder right into the topsoil around your plant every 30 to 40 days. Eggshells are rich in calcium carbonate. This is going to strengthen the plant cell walls, firm up the fruit skin to prevent cracking, and make sure those developing lemons stay firmly attached to the branches. And finally, Section 5, the monthly power mix. The absolute crucial point for getting continuous fruiting is keeping the soil alive, and that is exactly what this mix does. Once a month, you want to combine 3 specific ingredients. First up, well-rotted cow dung manure for slow-release moisture and root nutrition. Second, vermicompost, which gives you those essential microbes and enzymes to stimulate healthy new shoots. And third, neem cake powder to naturally suppress any soil-borne pests and diseases while actively feeding the plant. When you apply this mix every single month, you're ensuring the soil stays perfectly balanced, which allows the tree to produce in endless, consistent cycles. And that brings us to our final question for this explainer. Are you ready to stop fighting your lemon tree and start actually feeding its natural life cycle? By providing that solid foundation of sun and salt-free water, pruning strategically to manage energy, utilizing that awesome water stress trick and boron for blooms, and supporting the final fruit with natural potassium and calcium, you aren't just gardening anymore. You're engineering a masterclass in biology. So take these blueprints, step out into your garden, and let's get growing.